Hey, I'm Luke. I'm not your typical freshman. While others are juggling their studies with their bustling social lives, you'll usually find me in the art room, lost in my sketches and daydreams. I turned 19 this year. I stay with my parents because we live close enough to campus. Then there is Ryan. Oh man, he really is a looker. He's a friend of my brother Bobby's. They both play on our university's football team, and they're both postgraduates. Ryan's the true star of the football team, the guy everyone wants to be friends with. His presence commands attention even in a crowded room. I've always admired Ryan from afar. His confidence contrasts with my own quiet demeanor. Because he is one of my brother's friends, Ryan and I don't really hang out. I'm too shy to strike up a conversation, but that doesn't stop me from noticing how handsome he is, how his laughter echoes through the room, or how his eyes light up when he talks about the game. The twins, Bobby and my sister Chrissy, are 4 years older than me, but Ryan is older. He's 26. He was working after leaving high school and before going to college. Ryan often joins Bobby on weekends when Sally's away visiting her folks. Those are the times when I catch glimpses of him, lounging by the pool or chatting animatedly with Bobby. Our worlds may be different, with Ryan coming from a more modest background while my family's comfortable. But there's something intriguing about him that draws me in, even from a distance. Don't get me wrong, I get along quite well with my brother Bobby. He's the typical caring eldest son. However, despite our closeness, we don't really hang out together much. Bobby stays on campus. He's quite a social animal. Whenever Ryan comes over, though, and I happen to walk past, he always extends an invitation to join them in the pool. It's a kind gesture, but I usually decline. I'm not exactly built like a football player. I'm rather scrawny, though apparently, according to some, I'm regarded as the most handsome male student in the art department. Unlike my siblings, I inherited the Mediterranean features of my mother's family. My best friend, Emma, keeps telling me I should consider modeling, but I've never been one for the spotlight. Modeling just is not my scene. I'm far too introverted and shy for that. Ryan, on the other hand, is the epitome of confidence and athleticism. With his blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and muscular physique, he's what most would consider hot. I find any excuse to walk past the pool when they're swimming and tossing around the ball. I can't help but admire him from afar, though joining them is out of the question for me. I'm far too shy, and catching a ball to save my life is a laughable concept. Of course, both my sisters swoon over Ryan. Chrissy, Bobby's twin, and Ellie, the youngest at only 8, both adore him. Chrissy already has a boyfriend, Ed, who's an engineering student. Bobby and Chrissy are very social, whereas I prefer the quiet solitude of my art room. Mom and Dad are loving and supportive parents, and we all spoil Ellie rotten. We're a pretty happy and lucky family, something Dad always reminds us of. Everyone in our family loves Ryan. He, along with Bobby's girlfriend Sally and Chrissy's boyfriend Ed, has become a regular fixture in our home. Maybe Sally and Ed more so than Ryan. But something tells me that's about to change. However, I've never disclosed my sexual orientation to my family. It's not that I anticipate they'd react negatively, but I'm simply not prepared for that conversation yet. One day, while Ryan was visiting, I noticed him strolling past my room. I was sprawled out on my bed, lost in some random sketches. To be honest, I was both taken aback and a bit thrilled when he walked in. He was dressed casually in shorts and a t-shirt, exuding his usual easy confidence. As he came over to take a peek at my sketches, I couldn't help but wonder what a football jock like him knew about art. Little did I know, Ryan's upbringing included frequent visits to art galleries, and his mom even holds a master's in graphic art. "Great work," he commented, breaking the silence. I couldn't help but internally scoff at the cliché, but his sincerity was evident. Then he startled me by sitting down on my bed. That's a bit forward, I thought, yet I felt quite exhilarated. He then moved closer. And another surprise, With gentle caution, he takes the sketch pad from my hands and starts flipping through it. I sat there, feeling somewhat bewildered by the unexpected intrusion into my personal space. We both sat upright against the upper end of the bed, and then something peculiar happened. His leg brushed against mine. It was such a simple gesture, but it sent a jolt of electricity through me. Even more strangely, as he continued paging through the sketches, his leg remained in contact with mine. I was freaking out with bewildered joy. Every part of me was buzzing with excitement, if you catch my drift. I think he might have noticed the effect he had on me, but he casually flipped through my sketches, complimented me, and then left my room with that effortless charm of his. After that incident, my mind was in overdrive. I closed my bedroom door, grabbed my phone, and dialed Emma, needing to share the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside me. "You've got to tell him, Luke. That guy's so into you." Emma's words rang with conviction. I sighed, feeling torn. "I haven't even told my folks about me, Emma, and what's Bobby going to say if he finds out his best mate might be gay? Or worse, what if I imagined all of it?" I wasn't ready to broach the subject with my family, but I was definitely prepared to delve deeper into deciphering Ryan's intentions. Then, Bobby dropped the bombshell that both Sally and Ryan were coming over for the weekend. Mom wasted no time in offering Mrs. Penosa the chance to earn some overtime, which she gladly accepted. My dad was thrilled, eager to test out his new barbecue and engage in spirited football banter with Bobby and Ryan. The sudden frequency of Ryan's visits struck me as odd. He never visited more than about once in 2 months or so, and now, 2 weekends in a row? It seemed peculiar, especially considering Bobby's knack for focusing his attention on Sally, who revels in being the center of his world. Friday evening rolled around, and Bobby, Sally, and Ryan arrived, all seemingly in high spirits. Sally, in particular, appeared unfazed by the prospect of sharing Bobby's attention with Ryan. It was a bit weird given how possessive she can be. It was an unexpected turn of events, one that left me both intrigued and apprehensive about what the weekend held in store. Ryan was slated to stay in the cabana by the pool, while Sally would occupy the guest room. My parents had a strict rule about unmarried couples sharing a room under their roof, a rule that Dad always delivered with his signature blend of humor and old-fashioned conviction. "What you do at college is your business, but here in my house, I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy. As long as you don't have jobs and don't have rings on your fingers, you don't share a room," he'd quip. Despite his jovial demeanor, we all knew the underlying seriousness of his stance. It was perhaps this aspect of Dad's character that made me hesitant to come out. Don't get me wrong, Dad is a reasonable and loving parent. I don't think he'll disown me or anything drastic like that, but I fear it might be a bit too unconventional for him to digest easily. Mom arrived home early and whipped up a fantastic meal for us all. She mentioned that Chrissy and Ed would be joining us on Sunday to experience Dad's trial of his new barbecue firsthand. In our family, we wait for the guests, and Mom to take their seats first before the rest of us sit down. Bobby and Sally, however, set the table, complete with charming little name cards. Dad, always one for lighthearted banter, quipped, "Bob's, we're only 7 people." Bobby's response was heartwarming. "Yes, but since I have my girl and my best friend here, I thought we'd make it a bit more special." I found myself seated next to Ryan. The moment I sat down, it happened again. The leg thing, his leg. His leg moved sideways and gently pressed up against mine. So it's real then. It did happen. And now again. I was on high alert, my heart racing with excitement. It was midsummer, so we were both wearing shorts. His leg touching mine wasn't a subtle brush. It was deliberate but gentle. Feeling the hair and warm skin of his manly leg pressing up against mine felt like an electrifying connection that sent shockwaves through me. For a moment, I was in disbelief. I felt almost lightheaded. Throughout the meal, amidst the lively conversation and clinking of cutlery, The warmth of his leg against mine persisted, a silent yet undeniable invitation that left me both exhilarated and uncertain about what lay ahead. After dinner, a whirlwind of emotions left me utterly confused. Once the table was cleared, I hastily retreated to my room and shut the door behind me. Happiness mingled with uncertainty, creating a tumultuous storm within me. What if I'm just imagining everything? Or worse, what if Ryan, the seemingly nice guy everyone adores, is actually some kind of manipulative player, toying with my feelings? I had the urge to call Emma. I wanted to share my confusing mix of excitement about my amazing experience at the dinner table, and yet the fear I might be wrong. Then my inner voice took charge. Luke, you're a big boy now, so stop freaking out. Simply see what evolves. I've had guys and also girls come on to me before, but never so physical. I've never been physical with anyone before. I mean, I've never even made out before. That's kind of how it works out when you're young, closeted, and nerdish. It helps to keep people at distance so you don't have to confront your sexuality. However, what to do when you start feeling ready to explore your sexuality, and what to do when such an awesome man who blows your world apart pursues you. I resolved that if Ryan was indeed sending me signals, if this was his way of expressing interest, then I would play dumb until he made his intentions crystal clear. I wouldn't allow myself to be led astray by ambiguous gestures and mixed signals. The prospect of exploring my feelings, let alone with someone like Ryan, both excited and terrified me. With a deep breath, I ventured out to bid everyone good night. It felt a bit premature, but I needed the sanctuary of my bed to sort through the whirlwind of emotions swirling within me. Before I delve into the next bit, it's crucial to understand that while I'm undeniably drawn to Ryan, and while my family warmly embraces him during his visits, I remain on the outskirts. Bobby's friends are not mine. My introverted nature keeps me content with my own company, supplemented by Emma's friendship, and I occasionally hang out with her older sister, Carol. Emma and I share everything, which makes it all the more peculiar that none of my family has ever questioned if Emma is my girlfriend, except for little Ellie, but she's only 8, so she probably do not see the same picture as the rest of the family. One more thing. Ryan's brief intrusion into my room during the previous weekend's strange interlude around my sketches doesn't grant him free access to my space. It's not like we've suddenly become buddies. I thought I'd better just put this context out there before I carry on with my story. Then it happened. While everyone else lingered in the lounge for a nightcap, a soft knock echoed through my door. Before I could respond, the door creaked open, and I flicked on my bedside lamp. There stood Ryan, his head peeking into the room. This time, however, he didn't step inside. "Are you okay?" he asked, his concern palpable. Yes, I'm fine. Why do you ask?" I replied, my heart pounding in my chest. "Just checking." "Good night," he said softly, closing the door behind him before I could muster any further words. "Oh fuck," I muttered under my breath. As always, my first instinct was to call Emma, but then remembered the text she sent me just a few minutes earlier. "At the late movies with Mom and Dad. They say hi. Hope your dinner was great. Talk tomorrow. Signing off now." Smiley emoji, rainbow flag, and 2 hearts. Shit, I cursed silently. I lay back in bed, my mind a whirlwind of thoughts. It took me more than an hour to finally drift off to sleep, long after everyone else had retired for the night, but eventually, exhaustion claimed me, and I surrendered to slumber's embrace. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, I found myself wide awake, likely due to my early bedtime. Deciding to quell my restlessness with a late-night snack, I made my way to the kitchen. From there, one can catch a glimpse of a sizable portion of our garden. Our property spans almost 2,000 square meters, with lush greenery and trees sprawling between the house and the pool, each situated at opposite ends. The previous owner had meticulously sculpted the garden into a sort of man-made forest, with clearings around the house and the pool. As I gazed out, I noticed a faint light flickering through the shrubs and trees. The pool light must have been left on, casting its glow through the forest. It was a nuisance when that happened, as the light attracted bugs into the pool, a sight I found repulsive. Determined to remedy the situation, I poured myself a glass of milk and grabbed the flashlight by the kitchen door. Stepping out onto the patio, I ventured through the garden towards the pool. The warm, tranquil night enveloped me, punctuated only by the rustling of leaves and the occasional chirp of crickets. Upon reaching the pool, I discovered my brother's t-shirt strewn across one of the deck chairs. It was a typical Bobby move, taking a late-night swim with Sally and forgetting to switch off the light. Bobby was not known for his housekeeping skills. As I flicked off the pool light and closed the switchboard door, I noticed the light in the cabana illuminate. Moments later, the sliding door opened. Ryan emerged, backlit by the cabana's glow. With the flashlight in hand, I inadvertently shone it at him, and... oh my God, it was a heavenly sight to behold. Ryan appeared disheveled, as if he had just woken up, clad only in his jocks. His long blonde fringe partially obscured his handsome face. Oh geez, I thought my knees were giving way. Realizing he couldn't see who I was, I stammered, "It's me. It's me. It's Luke. I came to switch off the light, the pool light." To my surprise, he responded casually, "Yes, I know. Bobby, Sally, and I had a late swim. Bobby left the light on. I tried to switch it off but couldn't find the switchboard," he explained. "It's because it's overgrown with ivy there on the wall," I responded. As he made his way to me, my heart jumped a few beats. "By the way, I hope I didn't wake you up," I managed to say, all the while struggling to avert my eyes from his physique. "Nah, I was struggling. It's the summer heat," he said. "Your mom said I should use the air conditioner if it's too hot down here, but I didn't think it was necessary. Haha, well, now I'm rethinking that," he added with a grin. I found myself settling into one of the deck chairs, unable to tear my gaze away from Ryan's captivating presence. I'm surprised when he reclines on the deck chair next to me. He looked so hot in those jocks, and let's just say the man was really packing. "Let's take a dip," he said. "The water was great earlier on." By this time, I was fully aroused, and I'm pretty sure he noticed it. I mean, I don't wear anything under my pajama shorts, so you catch my drift. I tried pulling my t-shirt ridiculously low, pretending to be playfully stretching the material. So desperate, hilarious now that I think about it. I was certain he must have noticed, despite my feeble attempt to hide the obvious. But then he asked again, his voice inviting, "Please, join me." His easy smile putting me at ease. "It is really hot," I agreed, my heart pounding with a mixture of nerves and excitement. I hesitated, stalling with the excuse, "Okay, but I'll have to go back to my room to get my swimming trunks." I figured I could at least wear some tight jocks under my board shorts to prevent any further embarrassment. The next moment he shocks me by pulling down his jocks. He gets up and looks down at me. My eyes are unable to decide to look at his grinning face, or it right there, less than an arm's length away, staring right back at me. I am stunned like a deer by an 18-wheeler's headlights. I look up at him, he flirtingly winks at me, turns around and effortlessly dives into the pool. A few seconds later, he surfaces on the other side. In the moonlight, I see him firmly shaking his head once to rid his lush hair of the excess water. He turns around and looks at me. He swims back to where I sit, while keeping his gaze on me. "You don't need your swim trunks?" he insisted, his tone firm, yet gentle. "Oh God, here we go again," I mumbled to myself. Torn between resistance and surrender, how could I resist this? In the next moment, I found myself stark naked, plunging into the pool alongside him, the cool water enveloping us both in its embrace.
Are you curious to know what happens next? What is happening between Ryan and Luke? Is Luke going to tell his folks about himself? Do they already suspect? What were Bobby and Sally up to with the dinner seating arrangements? To follow Luke and Ryan's story, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Join the conversation in the comments and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for being part of the journey.